Bitch.
Don't fucking play with me. Don't fucking
Don't put your hands on me, faggot.
Don't fucking do it.
Huh?
Call me a fucking faggot. What's up?
Huh?
What's up? What's up? Because I'm motherfucking done with you. Call me a faggot one more fucking time. And I'm gonna fucking pop your ass. What's up? What's up, motherfucker? What's up?
Whoa. Damn, bro.
Hey, Jordan.
This week on It's Happening Out. Is Bloomberg an ideal candidate?
Michael Bloomberg appears to be running for president.
Florida man sues
He
Madonna.
also claims him and other fans don't want to attend a concert that late. A refund has not been offered. A man in Florida is suing Madonna and life.
How to stop a civil war. RuPaul's Angel.
There's only one team to call. It's go time.
It's all happening out tonight. Join us on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. With your host, lifestyle expert Napoleon Plays, trans activist Aaron Phoenix, reality TV star Chef Josie, DJ Diva Power Infinity, DC Log Cabin Republican Joe Brookman, and our moderator Al Ferguson. It all starts right now, live on It's Happening Out.
Well, good evening, America. It's Wednesday night, 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, and that means it's happening out. We know that you're going to enjoy this show very much. We're going to jump right into it. A lot of important things. This is an important day going on in Washington, D.C., and also here in South Florida, the gayest place on planet Earth. Before we get started and we do a little housekeeping, let me tell you a couple of housekeeping notes. First off, we are happy to announce, you saw the monogram there of our new tagline for the show. We have created a new tagline to the show called the world's most popular live gay TV show. Yeah. Both YouTube and Facebook have identified It's Happening Out as rising stars in gay talk and communication in digital television. And what is the proof for that standard? We're getting ready to show you an animated slide of our shows in October. Our unique view count of people that watched in October, 3,755,000 viewers watched It's Happening Out in October, including that gigantic CNN special that we did on the presidential town hall meeting. We have a slide here to show you what happened in October, including our shares, our engagements that were included. And in that slide that we have for the show, it shows you that 238,000 comments and engagements took place in October alone on It's Happening Out.
Yeah, you got to
Finally, sorry?
I was going to say, you got to keep up with the conversation because we are talking at you live from literally, or at least allegedly, the gayest place on planet Earth. That's what made all this happen.
Sounds like you're waiting for some more action, Aaron.
Allegedly.
That's absolutely true. And we show you our viewers here. And also, we signify a milestone. We keep talking about milestones, but last week's show had the single largest view of a live show we've ever had, 645,000 people. Whoa. In terms of watching It's Happening Out. Yeah, that deserves a round of applause. Yeah, Josie, you're going to tell us about my friend here, Chef Josie. I do that every week.
You call him Chef now, huh?
Chef Josie, we're coming from
Bubbles and Pearls. We are a hip little chic, sleek restaurant here in the heart of Wilton Manors. This is where the locals hang out. We have the happiest of happy hours. And of course, we are in the center of the gayest place on planet Earth.
That's absolutely right.
And speaking of the gayest place on planet Earth, where the sissies love to hang out, we at It's Happening Out, we are guests of Best Western on I-95 and
for those of
for
us not brave
Lauderdale.
enough to live in the gayest place on planet Earth.
They treat us real fab. So if you guys are in town, please check them out.
That's right. And please make sure to like, subscribe, and share this video. If you're watching, you want to make sure that everything LGBTQ gets out to all of your friends and more. Check out this video to learn how to share.
Watch this.
When viewing our live show in your app, please click share. After clicking share, your screen should change and you can then click watch party. On the next screen, you can write text to your viewing audience and then click start watch party. You've done it. Enjoy your party.
You can also watch us on YouTube. It's Happening Out, youtube.com/It's Happening Out. Like us and subscribe. Stay in touch with our community.
That's absolutely right. Any of the social media platforms for It's Happening Out.
Stay tuned.
Now, we have a new show that has just started. We did our 5th show of it tonight. My partner in crime. You're my partner in crime. Napoleon Plays. And tonight we did at
The
7
third wheel.
The third wheel, Chef Josie. And it's
like
called
that wheel.
Happening.Fun. Completely different because it talks about things to fun. And we want to show you a little bit of what we did tonight at Happening.Fun. Watch this.
Tonight, only on Happening.Fun. We are attractions. We are casino events. We are nightlife. We are festivals. We are concerts. We are Florida events. We are movies. We are sports. We are live performance. With your host, Napoleon Plays. With your moderator, Al Ferguson. Celebrities and interviews, Mark Anthony. Sarah Bareilles. Let's plan ahead. Night Garden's magical lights. Holiday Lights Cruise. Out and about, Terry DiCarlo Benefit. The Black Party. Around Florida. Disney Studios Galaxy's Edge. Epcot's Food and Wine Festival. The Fun 5. Riptide Music Festival. West Side Story. It's all happening tonight on South Florida's most popular live source for things to fun. Only on Happening.Fun.
Isn't that cool?
Hey.
Happening.Fun. We're talking about the things to fun. We want to entertain. And of course, we want to find things to fun because it's a pretty serious time here in America.
Oh my God.
And we're going to prove that tonight.
We
at
need some fun
Happening.Fun.
distractions in this life,
That's
that's
right.
for sure.
So as a result, let's start It's Happening Out with something that is fun. And that is how we always begin our show. And that
Loosen it
is-
up.
And loosen it up, right? Wait, I was going to go in a very inappropriate
My hands were
way.
like almost doing something a little graphic right
no,
there. I had
all
to
right.
keep it down.
And that is our meme of the week. Now, frequently our memes are political. Not that. Oh, wait. Yes, it is. It's
of course
political.
not.
Here's our meme of the week. Calling 911. What is your emergency? I ask a man to defend Trump without saying Obama, Clinton, or Democrat. And down he goes.
Throw him down.
911, 911, please come get Joe.
I saw this, and I thought that was a Democrat standing in line at a Trump rally, and the snowflake just melted.
Wait, I don't know which joke is better, that one or that's you on the ground. Look closely. Is that Joe?
Oh no,
Because
I have hair.
There's about.
Hey! I'm on Team Joe tonight. Let's go, Joe.
If that's Joe, there's about 631,000 viewers going, yeah!
And there's no sequence there. Can't be nice.
Let's move
No,
on.
that's true.
Let's move on to the best thing of the week. Each week we show you something that is a little lighter and a little fun. This is an interesting one. Adam Rippon, the famous Olympic skater, gay skater, celebrated his 30th birthday. And as everybody knows, when you turn 30, your life is over.
I'm 30, everybody. I like to think that this was done just for me. Thank you, Adam Rippon.
It wasn't. Adam
We'll
Rippon
never know.
decided, in a kind of a little melancholy way, he was going to celebrate his birthday very privately, and got on the ice and did a skate just for himself, and somebody filmed it. Our
Just for
best
himself.
thing of the
Oh,
week.
wow.
Watch
Master
this.
skating.
Well,
That's
thank
our-
you so much, Adam Rippon, for that wonderful birthday gift. If you are single, find me right here.
Happy
Right.
birthday, child.
Yes, happy birthday. And I don't see how you made that about you.
Because it's 30th birthday celebration.
Yeah.
We stick together.
All right. Let's move on to something else that is fun. Each week we play a game called I'd Swallow That. And we told you, America, at It's Happening Out, we were a little disappointed. RuPaul has her pit crew. Ellen has her lawn boy. Well, now we're very excited at It's Happening Out. We have the Idaho Shot Boy.
We're supposed to share one.
And tonight, there might be more in the future. Tonight, from Johnson's here in Wilton Manor, we have our Idaho Shot Boy,
Idaho,
Alexander.
Idaho.
Come on in.
Oh, yes.
And,
Off the muscles we go.
and
I got
we're-
distracted.
We're
I was stigmatized.
and as nimble as Alexander is
Jack B.
in his job, we'll have to make sure that he realizes that there's cameras and lights
Listen,
all
if you see him
around
on a
the
pole,
set.
honey,
Right.
trust.
Exactly.
Over here,
It's
Joe.
a different
All right.
kind of pole, honey.
Here's
I'm loving it.
Here's how it works. We're going to ask questions, and the hosts are going to answer. And they're going to answer the question by, if they agree, take the shot.
Let me
If they
demonstrate.
don't- Yeah. Yes, that's exactly it.
Just the
Warm
tip,
up.
right?
We encourage you to play with us at home. Participate with us at home. We're a live show, and apparently even the phones are ringing.
time
All
I've heard
right, here we go. I'd swallow that. Question number 1. I don't care if strangers perceive me as gay.
Unless I'm in Uganda.
I absolutely care if they perceive me as gay. I want them to know. It's the best way to get any kind of action. They have to know that I'm interested in them. If they don't know that I'm gay, how will they know that I want them?
You know,
Rapey.
That's a terrific observation. Will this perception of being gay in the general public move beyond your physical sexual act, and gay will represent more of what people think about you?
I don't know. I think the
generational
desire is that it becomes more integrated and not obvious unless you actually want to dress or be that way. I mean, hopefully the stereotypes go away, and it really doesn't matter whether you're gay or straight.
Yeah. Aaron, not Aaron Power, did you have any problem through your life of people questioning whether you were gay or not?
Of
Have
course,
you-
all through my life. All through my life.
Really?
And yeah, and of course, growing up, in the olden times,
You were
it
a
wasn't
banshee
as,
boy, right?
I was considered a bati boy, a little bit of sugar in my tank, but I always had these motherfucking fists, so it was okay.
You did
So
it.
many
All right.
phrases I don't even
All right,
understand.
let's move on to question number 2, and we're going to call Alexander back. Oh, shot boy.
Oh, yes.
Hi-ho.
And he's, I love your jeans. Your jeans
I
are
love those.
just absolutely
Always right on point, right, Al?
What
Yeah.
are those, Levi's?
I
Yeah.
keep forgetting to take the shot. I'm just...
Yes.
I don't
right.
know, but
Here we
I'm
go.
loving his arms.
Thank you. And
Thank you.
Our set is very tight here.
Sexy, sexy.
Oh, wait.
I keep moving over.
All right.
Yeah, he said that.
Read between the lines.
Oh, boy.
Question number 2.
Oh, God.
When straight people...
We've lost Napoleon for the rest of the show.
I think about this and I have, and it's so...
Wait,
not
come back.
Stop, because now I'm
Walk
thinking
into the
about
light,
it, okay?
Carolyn. Walk
Not
into
talking
the
about
light.
your
Right.
ass.
All right. Question number 2. When straight people overtly display public displays of affection, it annoys me. I don't like, basically, straight people to have PDA. It annoys me.
I live in Wilton Manors. I don't remember the last time I saw straight people. Like, what was that?
Yeah, the gayest place.
All right, no one?
Does it? It annoys Aaron. Anybody else?
No,
Of course,
no.
something annoys Aaron. What a surprise.
Right. Aaron's
I think-
annoyed by people. Surprise!
There it
That's
is.
fair, and there it is.
Subject.
Aaron's
Yeah,
annoyed by
All
people.
right, and why does...
My desire is that at some point, it doesn't bother me, but that PDA, whether you're gay or straight, is a common and accepted thing where people don't look twice if you're 2 men or 2 women kissing, that it's just normally part of how people are, whether you're in a restaurant or on the street.
Yeah, but there's different levels of PDA. There's
Yeah.
holding hands quietly, and then there's sticking your tongue into their
Yeah.
I like
ear or
groping
their
up
eye.
against a wall.
I
so
couldn't-
I
couldn't
can,
care.
I held my
care
breath
one way
there
or-
for
I
a
couldn't
second
care
when
one
he
way or
said
another.
sticking my tongue in
Keep
there.
it up for 8 minutes to
Yeah.
see what happens.
I couldn't care one way or another. My only annoyance is that it just is not something that's accepted for all.
Well,
That's it.
see,
But I'm
kind
curious,
of-
in your instance, why does it bother you?
Yeah,
Straight
I mean,
people
I don't
doing
mind
it.
people holding hands. That's a different thing. PDA to me is like, really public display.
Making out.
Yeah.
Well, that's overtly.
Yeah.
Would you feel the
Oh.
same way? Would you feel the same way about gay people?
Well, yeah. I just think it's kind of rude. If you're in public, chances are you're around other
Okay,
people.
so
like
your
making
shot
out?
is because of PDA.
Yeah, if you're, shoving your tongue down each other's throats in public, like for what? Where are you that you really need to
No,
be
but
doing
then
that?
you miss the opportunity
wow.
to say like, get a room. Like.
Right.
But is that far?
God, I hope people
is
yell
that,
that.
is that
I know,
far
yeah.
really what's considered PDA?
I guess that's when I thought of PDA. That's what I thought of. I didn't really think of holding hands.
Well, then it's
Holding
interesting if
hands
you're
or
only bothered by one and not the
kissing or-
other. If you're only bothered by straight people and not gay people displaying PDA, then you have to get into the line of
No,
how do you know if they're straight? How
No,
do you
no,
have to
no.
identify their gender?
No,
all
no,
those
no,
things.
no, that's
you,
not what I
you,
said.
You couldn't have won that if you said yes. I know.
That's not what I said.
I know
what
it's
I
not.
said was that it bothers me no matter who you are, gay, straight, or otherwise. Like keep
Yeah,
some of the
that
tongue
was
stuff
clear.
in the bed.
And,
in the
and
bed.
did I hear you say I says what I said? Did you just say that?
That was similar.
Yeah.
Yes.
What's the grammar when you're
Let's
limiting
move on to
power?
question number 3, which means I got to call Alexander back. Oh, shot boy.
For what?
Here we go.
Oh, yes,
it's
yes,
getting a
yes.
little posy.
It's getting a little posy.
Whoa.
If-
Okay.
If I spill it, can I lick it up?
These are very-
I already have mine.
A little posy, all right?
Only if
Here we
you have
go.
a 50 in your
If I
pocket.
spill it, can I
Right?
lick it up?
You can see him smile when they say that.
I'll keep this one. Bye.
Okay.
Here we go.
We got one
Bye,
more.
We have
Alexander.
one
See you
more
later.
After that.
Hold on.
I spilled a little. I think that's alcohol
Alexander.
abuse.
All right, question number 3. Regardless of what political party wins, if asked, I would serve as an advisor to work from within.
Oh, ma'am. No, ma'am.
Yeah.
I question anyone that doesn't actually take the shot. I want to see like your list of credentials
Well,
and moral decisions in the past.
Let's start with power. Tell us why you wouldn't.
Because if the political party that wins in 2020 would be Trump's administration, I find that there would be no need for me to serve in that type of administration. I wouldn't be useful or helpful, and furthermore, I can't stand them, so no.
Yeah.
You mean because you'd
wouldn't
just
do
be a
it.
scapegoat and fired within 30
Did
minutes?
anybody
anyway?
else take the
Probably.
shot?
I took the shot.
Yeah. Yeah, you did
No,
not. You
no.
couldn't do it.
No, because as an employer, I want employees that are on board with my vision and executing what I want from my company. And it's the same thing as the president. If the president is there, he has a vision and policy that the government is there to enforce and
His
implement.
vision or Russia
and
is one or the
implement.
other.
I'm curious. Now, you took the shot.
Yes.
I took the shot.
That's why there's
you
deep
took the
state.
shot,
I took the shot,
and
too.
you took the shot.
Yeah.
Isn't it interesting?
So y'all
the 4
gonna
of
be
us
deep
in the
state.
center that we're the deep.
Y'all gonna be deep
All
state.
right, he beat me to the damn joke. Stab my jokes.
With anyone.
But don't you think it's funny that Power at one end of the spectrum and Joe at the other end of the spectrum completely agree?
That's because we have principles.
I thought you were a Republican.
They don't
But a li-
match,
but a
but,
little
they
caveat,
got
a little
principles.
It doesn't matter as
A
long
little
as you're
caveat,
principled.
if it was not this particular administration. If it
Yeah,
was
if it was George Bush, you
If
could
it was,
have.
yes, I would. If it was
Okay.
another
All right,
Republican
good.
administration, I would.
Let's move on to question number 4, and that means
Yeah, 'cause I need
we've
a
got to call our
shot.
our shot boy in, and here we go.
Ready to go. Don't even have to call him. He's there to
Thank
go.
you.
Yeah.
Already
Here we
drunk.
go.
I have this one right here.
All right.
I just want to
All
see
right.
He's not going to grab
twerk-
another thing to swallow.
twerk
Well.
it. Can you
And we
twerk it?
thank Johnson's, as you can see.
Jiggle it, baby.
And Alexander. Johnson's is right here on Wilton Drive, the gayest place on planet Earth.
Yep.
And I think Alexander proved that tonight.
Oh, man.
Oh,
You
and I
have
think
no
all
idea.
of y'all proved it here tonight.
Yeah, I think it was proven right from the beginning here.
Yeah, all right. Question number 4. I'd swallow that. This is a good one. I feel that the best of times of my life still lie ahead.
Boom to
Yeah.
that.
Cheers.
I just can't drink anymore.
Oh. I've got to go to Power first. Power, tell us about that.
Power first, power only. I don't know. I just kind of feel like I feel lucky to even be here. I never even thought that I would make it to my age. And I would hope that the best times of my life are ahead, but I kind of feel like the hardest times of my life lay ahead.
So the hardest is the best.
The hardest is the worst.
It's the worst.
Oh.
Yeah. I
What-
feel
what-
like
Your joke didn't land.
Why do you feel
I
the
thought
hardest
I thought you
are
said the
ahead?
hardest was in the past.
Because,
and that-
because as you get older, you see a lot more of your friends and family die. I always feel like I'm just gonna end up dying alone. And so I just feel like as I get older, I see my mortality a lot more, and I see the mortality of my friends and family. So I feel that that's the hardest.
Power, I can tell you for sure, there are going to be hundreds of thousands of people this week that watch this game, and it's happening out, and watch you specifically and go, I can't believe he said this. It will shock them that that is your answer. Who you are, where you were from, where you're going, and the observation that maybe the best was in the past. What do you do? So you're in this situation and you think this. What do you do? You're still a young man. How do you challenge yourself out of this? Gay man, what you've done, recognizing what you just said.
That's a
How
good
do
question.
you challenge yourself?
That's a good question. I think at this point in my life, I'm a lot more reflective, and I feel like I enjoy a better walk with my God. And because of that, I really try now to find my true purpose in life, which I don't feel like I've found. So if I could find my true purpose and the mission that I was put on earth to do, I feel like my life would really, really have found its fulfillment.
Yeah, awesome. Awesome.
Yeah, that got really deep.
That's our game. I'd swallow that. We play that every week, and we'll continue to do that. If you want to pass that over here, we can put that here for
Or
you.
take it, because
Don't
it's a little
waste-
down now.
Let's move out of the game and move into Happening Now. Happening Now is our segment on breaking news. And it is what is trending at this moment. Of course, we've said this for the last number of weeks. It is the same trending news that is breaking now, and that is the impeachment hearings. Today was historic. Only the 4th time in history has the House opened. Today, they opened the impeachment hearings to the public. It was quite significant. We've prepared this little piece for you to begin this conversation on breaking news that's happening now. Watch this.
According to Mr. Morrison, President Trump told Ambassador Sondland he was not asking for a quid pro quo. President Trump said it was not a quid pro quo. Ambassador Sondland also said that he had talked to President Zelensky and Mr. Yermak and had told them that although this was not a quid pro quo, if President Zelensky did not clear things up in public, we would be at a stalemate.
Well, there it is. Today it begins. It is going to get vast and deep now. It has started to the public. Every network broadcast it live. Every cable network broadcast it live. What do y'all think? What happened today? What's the significance of today being day one of the public hearings in the House?
I think the significance is, and you can look at it and listen to everybody, both sides have drawn their lines, they've gone to their positions, and they're going to take those positions. But the value of what's going on is that all of the broadcast networks are carrying it live. So everybody can watch it. It's not necessarily, yes, people are going to give their color, but they can watch it for themselves, and I think that is extremely valuable.
Oh my God, I cannot believe that I agree with Joe.
Where are the shots?
There goes your storm off moment.
I have to say, the good thing about this impeachment inquiry is that wherever you are, you're already going to have your lines drawn, and we already know this is how it's going to play out. I know my sister Josie has faith in the Republicans in the Senate that they will do the right. No. I think I agree with Joe in that Trump will be impeached, and in the Senate he will not be removed. But the good thing about this is that we, the people, get to see for ourselves and decide for ourselves, because the final decision is going to come next year at the ballot box, and you guys have got to be there to take your
you
vote.
can say that people can decide for themselves, but the reality is that 5 people are going to watch it, just like anyone else who did their homework with anything else, which is no one. And then they're going to have the news tell them what to think in the 5-second clip that can be catered to any decision that they want. So we're still going to have the same problem that we've had with every other portion of this administration. The news is going to broadcast just a portion of it, and that's what the masses are going to think.
Well, Napoleon, as much as I love you, I'm going to have to say that I don't agree with you on that one,
I don't
okay?
agree either.
And I'm
I
going to
hope
say
so.
before we jump ahead, all right, we're going to be able to hear this hearing. We're going to be able to watch it. We're going to be able to read the reports. The truth of the matter is as confident as we are, we have no idea truly what the outcome is going to be. And once we get there, I'm at this place where I'm watching, because once the case is laid out, and if it lays out the way I think it's going to lay out, then yes, Donald Trump will be impeached. And I think that will put pressure on the Republicans, and the Republicans will not be able to turn away from the facts. They are, they're stonewalling right now. They're gaslighting. That's what they do. But when the facts percolate to the top, you can't run from the facts, my friends.
Yes, they can.
It's happened for 3
Oh,
years
yes,
at
they
least.
can. And as a matter of fact, I think the Republicans are like WWE referees. They just don't see nothing. they don't see nothing. No matter what goes on, they don't see a body slam, a throw over the rope.
A poke in the eye, none of it.
You know what I'm saying?
Lindsey Graham definitely is a WWE referee.
Yeah,
It's amazing what he has said.
I hate to disagree with Napoleon, but here's the difference. If it was a case that was being told by the mainstream media, then I would understand where you're coming from. But this is a situation where we are actually sitting in the inquiry and we're seeing for ourselves. Yes. So at the end of the day, I don't care what CNN, MSNBC, NBC, CB, I don't care what Fox, what they have to say. I am seeing for myself with my own 2 earballs.
I'd like to take the opportunity to move out of happening now, but make one point. We did not discuss this. We have a host meeting in the afternoon today. I let you in a little. We go through our show and our what we're going to talk about, but we don't talk about the details. I have just learned this week, just to the point of your observations, interesting to me. I have watched a lot about the Nixon impeachment process and the hearings. I learned something this week I did not know. When the impeachment hearings started on day 1 in 1973, the country was roughly divided. Actually, a bit more than 50% did not favor impeachment of Richard Nixon. The public hearings changed public opinion by 30 points.
Wow.
And to the point that all of you have made, the value of watching it live is going to fundamentally affect whatever opinion is going to happen. And to the points that you're making, we don't know what America is going to think after they watch it. And even in Watergate, that's what happened. It is definitely a happening now issue. Breaking news as we speak, and we're going to watch it. Let's move into our celebrity hot topics this week. Our girl Madge is in a little bit of trouble. Celebrity hot topic number 1, Madonna's being sued, and she's being sued for tardiness. Our graphic director, our creative director, takes a little play on words of the late Madonna.
Did you hear the gasp across the room here at Bubbles and Pearl?
Like, Jesus Christ, can we just get off this? I don't know what this woman thinks makes her so special. Having done many great things in your life, congratulations. You waste so much time with people's lives. Time that could be used to do anything else, to volunteer to it.
It wasn't time to talk
Let me set the story up.
I just thought
Madonna
I heard a big
is
yawn
doing
across.
12, I believe the number is 12, theater performances here in South Florida. In a theater, amazing. And they initially published that the show was going to be at 8:30. They have just announced in the last 10 days approximately that they were going to move it to 10:30. I think anticipation of Madonna's chronic lateness of her concerts.
Listen, this is what I see what's going on here, okay?
Okay.
I used to have that problem,
All
all
right.
right? I'd be late all the time, okay?
Wait, you used to have a problem of being Madonna?
Well, no,
Marcy,
being late,
we
being
need a
late.
testimonial.
And then I realized that it was disrespectful to all the people in my life, and then
Right.
I started taking accountability of myself. She needs a little self-work, but also she's working on her diva status, and maybe, look, she's a night girl, okay? Come on, we know that. It's like, just make the concert later, like win-win, you know? It doesn't have to be, and no one has to get sued.
Well, the lawsuit.
Not everybody
is
wants to
that-
start at 10:30. Have an opening act.
Girl,
and then
But you know that's going to happen. If you buy a
ticket.
ticket for Madonna, don't expect it to be on time.
Well,
you might
it
as well
couldn't,
just
it
come in
couldn't
knowing
be,
it's
it
coming 5
couldn't be
hours
me.
late.
I wouldn't be buying no ticket. I've never bought a ticket for Madonna and would never. But I do feel.
I know, 'cause you get invite
I do
VIP
feel that
backstage.
it is a
Wait, did
disrespect.
you just dish Madonna that you wouldn't even go to her concert?
I live for her music, but I'm not a concert girl, so I don't go to
Okay.
concerts.
All right,
Period.
all right, that's
but
different.
But it is a disrespect. It's a bit of entitlement to feel that you can do your audience this way. And when Josie said, "Well, make it later," you know, if she made it later, she would still be late. I want to point out that Madonna was booed after her Vegas concert started 2
Just
hours
last
late.
week.
Now, mind you, fans walked out. 500 refunds were issued,
Oh,
and
God.
this after the doors opened at 8 p.m. for a 10:30 opening.
Wow.
And she did move it to 10:30, and she was still late and didn't come on till
she just
12:30.
It's so much more
Wait,
videos.
Let me follow up
films.
that story, and I know some of you know it. I had front row seats for a Madonna concert here in South Florida, and she showed up ultimately 3 hours late onto the stage. The DJ that was the opening act completely tore the set down. They brought him back, reset it up. He started another set, tore it down. When
mean, you
she
gotta be
came out
diva status
3
to have that
hours
happen.
late, she was booed across an arena. Booed. Absolutely booed.
While
And
you were there?
I was sitting in the front row. And she said, "Guys, this is Miami. We're a late city.
that.
What's the big deal?" She did not care at all. And then the fans didn't care at all after that.
But you know, but you know
Maybe
what?
that's
But you
why
know what
she's
the
playing
shade
the
is.
little venues now.
But you know what the shade is? Okay, yes, it's Miami. It's a late city, so that means you must have been extra late to be booed in a city that's late.
Yes, exactly. Come on. All right. Well,
We love you, Madonna. I love you, Madonna.
Yeah, I love you too, girl, but
If
you
we
got to
can
do better.
If we can do our lower third on the flash poll, we're going to be doing this more of taking a quick opinion poll of our host. I want to do a quick flash poll, only yes or no. Do you think that the vote, or do you think that this lawsuit on Madonna will have any effect on Madonna at all? Yes or no?
Yes.
With all that money, no.
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 Interesting. We're going to
It'll
watch
make her
this
more of a diva,
soon.
maybe.
Unfortunately.
All right, let's move into topic number 2 in our celebrity hot
Thank
topics
you.
this week, and that's Charlie's Angels. I mean, RuPaul's Angels.
Oh boy, RuPaul.
A unique marketing venture with the movie has taken place with RuPaul and her girls. Let's watch this first.
Go for Bosley. What? I'm looking at the news now. Oh, God. There's only one team to call. It's go time.
We're on it. Bring back my girls. Squirrel friends, we are dealing with a code red emergency, so I hope you got your nails did. Good luck, and don't it up.
A wig snatcher. We have to stop this weevil maniac. I love puns. Ooh, let's set a booby trap. It's preparation montage time! Freeze! Et tu, cute? Fine. I've been snatching wigs like the crown was snatched from me.
Your reign of terror stops here.
You have the right to remain basic. Any look you wear can and will be used against you. I should have been an accountant.
Congratulations, angels. Thanks to you, we're all safe to slay another day. Now, go and unwind and remember, if you can't save yourself, how in the hell are you gonna save somebody else? Can I get an amen up in here? Amen! All right now, let the music play.
Hop in, angels. Got a lip sync assassin on the loose.
Yeah!
Isn't that fun?
Oh my God, yeah.
Before we say anything about RuPaul's Angels, let me do one thing that Ru has never been able to do on Logo or VH1. At It's Happening Out, we can say, which I say to the host every week, don't fuck it up. And I'm not bleeped.
Yeah.
What do y'all think about this promotion with RuPaul?
I really wish they had skits like that in the actual show. That was really well done. It played off of the characterization we already know of each of those people. And anything Katya is in is a win. Katya always wins. I'm now an evil person.
If they were in it, I'd watch it.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, and everyone will tell you that while we were watching the video, I was cracking up because I'm easy like that. But I mean, this is gonna be fun.
It's going to be fun.
Drag power.
There you go. Exactly. All right. Let's move on to celebrity hot topic number 3. Now, this is iconic and it is groundbreaking.
Oh God, please.
This week in celebrity hot topics, we get to fold in Donald Trump.
Oh.
Donald Trump is a celebrity hot topic. Now, let me tell you why. His best bud that he fired, but he loves, Sean Spicer, the press secretary. Sean Spicer is competing on Dancing with the Stars. He made it Monday night into the quarterfinals. Let me show you what a great dancer Sean Spicer is. First off, watch this. It's a talk over here as we watch.
I am so excited.
I like the
oh
my God.
Look at the seriousness. Oh my God.
Oh.
Now remember,
What poor
President
dancers
Trump
with him,
fired
you know?
him.
Yeah.
Do you remember? He was the press secretary when he
fire him.
started.
Yeah, played by
Yes,
Melissa
he did.
McCarthy
Yeah.
on us.
Oh my God.
Well, okay,
Right?
he resigned.
He resigned.
No.
Allegedly.
Well,
No, he was fired.
my
He
God.
did resign.
all
He
right,
resigned.
we'll accept
But
resign.
look at how they have to have 4 dancers on
But
camera
I think
with
the
them just
most,
to
the most
distract.
important, part of
Come
this.
on. What is that rhythm?
All right.
It's like
The most important part of this
wait.
is that he was dancing for the Wounded Warrior Foundation, and everything that came about has been donated
I feel
to
like
the
that's
Wounded
not
Warrior
Okay.
Foundation.
Is that true?
That's
I
not
have
why
to
people are
fact
voting
check
for
that.
him, but
I
it's-
applaud that,
and-
but that's not the point.
No.
And I applaud that. Congratulations to
Well-
Sean Spicer for doing it for charity.
But part of what that was, part of
doing
what
it for his
kept him in the
career.
game was him reaching out
exactly.
to veterans and wounded warriors and getting the support
Joe.
of all those
Hi.
things.
All right. You're not going to sell that.
Gaslight.
Good job.
Did he even do anything
All
in
right.
his dance?
Here's the subject on Sean
She
Spicer.
led and followed.
Here's the story. Monday night, he's on the quarterfinals. Monday, President Trump tweets to support his friend,
I saw
Sean
that
Spicer, and to vote for him. That same day, Sean Spicer is voted off the show.
Yeah, I saw
Yeah,
that
so much
tweet.
for
Now, what
support.
was interesting about our celebrity hot topics with the president is in the middle of the night, President Trump snuck back in on Twitter and removed his tweet
Shade.
so nobody would know.
Shade.
Of course, 10 million people are freezing every tweet that he does, and the next day people were showing, wait, here's the tweet he removed.
Shade.
And it's some kind of reference. So Sean Spicer is an example. Then it got us thinking, what's going on with the president and celebrity? He's obsessed with it.
Yeah,
We
he should
show
just
you
stay
here
a celebrity.
Nikki
Always.
Haley, who also left, resigned, whatever you want to call it, her
Got
new
called to hell.
book, and the president endorses her new book. And surprise of surprise,
Yeah, with all
Donald
due
Jr. writes a book called Trigger, and President Trump endorses the book in tweet. And we're showing you the tweets
You think that's
now
a real beard?
in this. He involves himself directly in celebrity hot topics. We've never seen a president of the United States ever do this before. What do y'all think? What's going on here?
Obama, Clinton's Democrats, go.
Okay. Honestly, I'm really not here for the normalization of fascists as celebrities. We have a little bit too much blur going on between our governmental officials and people who are reality show stars.
All right.
Not here for
Okay.
that.
All he ever was.
Yeah,
was
I would say
God, I
celebrity.
love
Using
some
the word
Aaron.
celebrities may be a little bit of a stretch, but it is interesting to note that while it's kind of tacky and late and lame for Trump to be endorsing
Tacky and what?
Late and lame.
Tacky, late, and lame. All right.
for him to be
I love
endorsing
Like his whole
Trump.
presidency, so there
Yes,
you go.
but
Okay.
it is not illegal. I actually thought it was illegal for him to do that,
No,
but
no.
I looked it up. It's not illegal.
No, he can't.
No,
Any
he's not
other
enough
thoughts
illegal.
before I
Anything
move
he's
on?
in, he ruins. I can't even watch Home Alone anymore because of his little scene.
Any
Terrible.
last thoughts?
We're going to talk about Nikki and Triggered later.
Yeah,
so I'm going to
okay,
save
all right,
my
very
comments.
good. All right, it's interesting to
Yeah,
me.
we're only gonna talk
that
about
we,
Nikki, not
wait,
Triggered.
we are able to link Trump to celebrity hot topics. How often do I get to do that?
That's awesome.
I thought it was.
I'm sure he's
All right,
turning
I thought it was-
over
let's
in
go
his little
personally.
casket.
Let's move out of celebrity hot topics into
Vampire
headlines.
thing.
Headline number one: the gay wave continues. Now, this
Boom.
is big news.
Let's all do the wave.
Hang on. Here we go.
I think you're leaving it all. Yeah.
Come on, Napoleon.
I'm not
Come on,
participating.
Napoleon.
There's a lot going on, from city councils and mayors all the way to a presidential candidate.
Yes.
There's lots going on with LGBTQ+. It's been announced in terms of an actual count that at least 144 LGBT candidates have won elections in the Rainbow Wave in 2019. And we draw a note to it. What do you think?
And what's most important about that is that these are mostly local elected officials. City councils, county commissioners. These are people who really affect our actual everyday lives.
Grassroots, exactly.
Yeah, it's not just about who's president. You got to go out and vote for your local elections, your state elections. That's who's really making the decisions here.
That's how they move up.
I think what's important with this is that it's integrating. It's becoming commonplace. People are not making decisions based upon your gender or LGBTQ-ness. It's about your impact and desire to affect your community or your constituents.
That's true.
And that's where it ought to be.
I'm sure a number of
I
these
like
people,
that. Yeah.
while we're overall excited about the representation for the community, I'm sure that we don't all agree with a lot of their policies. And it is important to not just vote for somebody because they are LGBTQ,
Thank you, Napoleon.
but
Didn't
because
have
they
to be me
actually
this time.
Well, you want people that support the most of your decisions.
Yes.
Just because you have the same sexual identity does not mean
Exactly.
that they will get
and that's
along
why,
hand in hand.
Listen, we got a gay mayor in Tampa who has a really shoddy history, and everybody wanted to celebrate that we had a gay mayor, but you've got to be way more interested in whether they're gay, or way less interested in whether they're gay, way more interested in what
it
they're
can cause more harm long
And
term.
I'd like to just end us on a positive note because I hear what you're saying.
That was a positive note.
That's as positive as Aaron.
That was a pep talk. Come on.
There's our activist.
But what
For
I'd like
Aaron,
to
yes.
say, it's a very powerful place for us to be coming from right now as a community. It shows that the idea where we marched in the streets because silence equals death is no longer our motto. We are standing up, we're stepping in, we're getting involved, and we're contributing. So rock on.
Interesting to me, to both observations. I'm going to close this headline, but interesting to me, we have announced that the last Saturday in March of 2020, we're going to be going to Tampa and broadcasting. It's happening now. It's going to broadcast the parade live. We're definitely going to have the mayor of Tampa on the show.
Come on, Jane Castor. I can't
and-
wait to have a conversation.
And,
She's
and
gonna
I'm
lock
sure we're
you
going to
up,
have more
baby.
conversation there.
She's gonna
Let's
lock
go to
you
our-
up.
She might get you too, girl. Look up Viking Well Black.
All right, let's move on to our second headline, and that is about the Democratic candidates for
boy.
President of the United States.
It's a bingo
We
card.
ask the question, and it's happening out. What's going on? Are we unhappy with our choices? Now, first, let me set this up. New Hampshire has a new survey poll out that says that more than half of all of the voters in New Hampshire are expressing in the Democratic category of voting for any of the candidates that they are undecided. More than half at this point. 24 candidates started and half are undecided. More importantly, of those that are expressing a preference in the Democratic primary, 61% of them express, I could change my mind. And with that gigantic number, it really almost invalidates the poll. Because what it's saying is, oh, well, I kind of like that person. But if you ask me next week, it could completely change. On top of that, what has happened this week with those people that are saying, we're kind of unhappy with the field of Democratic candidates. They cannot beat Donald Trump, and I might come in. That includes 50 billionaire Mayor Bloomberg. That includes the Massachusetts governor, who is quite popular in a liberal state. And even this week, Hillary Clinton is saying that she is massively being pressured to announce coming into the race. What that says is, why are we unhappy with our candidates and what's going on? What do y'all think?
First of all, I appreciate the fact that it's happening out, is bringing this topic to fruition, but I do not think that says, are we unhappy with the Democratic candidates? First of all, Mayor Bloomberg, then nobody asked him to jump in. He has a negative 30% approval rate. That's the lowest that we've ever seen. Hillary Clinton, I love you to death, but she's talking about somebody's, who girl? Who's pressuring you? I don't know anybody pressuring her to jump in.
It ain't me.
Let me talk to them. We love you, but you already done that, and you failed. So, and as far as people right now saying, well, their minds can change and that, it's early.
Right.
We have how many? 20 candidates. It's early. No wonder people can't make up their mind, because we have so many, we have such a large field, and it's still early yet. So yes, everybody's mind can change.
The reason people can't break up their minds is because we only have 2 political parties, and it is impossible for somebody to run as anything else. If we would be more open, like other countries are, to actually having more candidates run on a fair level, then we might actually have a shot at getting somebody that is sane.
Well, and here's what we have going on, though, is that on a 2-party system, when a candidate runs as something else, they get largely ignored. Now what we have is a lot of people who probably would otherwise align with other parties that might not necessarily run as Democrats, who are now running as Democrats, which means we are all considering them, even though before we never would have if they were running as a third
Let
party.
me challenge that observation. I read a very interesting article. I don't know if y'all remember Ross Perot.
Yeah.
Ross Perot likely changed the election. He got, I believe.
Do you remember Ross Perot?
He was a sketch comedy person that was on all that. I remember the skits from that. So I do remember.
Ross Perot, billionaire, got approximately 16% of the vote, and that was enough to siphon off, and it changed the course of the election.
History.
I read a very interesting article since the Bloomberg announcement that the world today in 2019 is completely different. Campaign finance is completely different. If Ross Perot could have spent at whim when he ran, he would have had much more than 16% of the vote. Mayor Bloomberg, with all due respect to your observation about the 30% negative approval rating, can solve that by spending $300 million.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't even know that much money.
$300 million. And the question is, why would Mayor Bloomberg come in and spend that kind of money if he felt that one of the Democratic candidates could beat Donald Trump?
Because half of them are selfishly running for themselves. They want to be in the spotlight, and that's why they feel they need to run.
You already have billionaires.
Listen, come on, guys. Let's not.
Steyer.
Look,
well, he's different, but Steyer has proven that money, like in Iowa.
That's right.
And Iowa gets
when Mayor
recognition.
Bloomberg ran for mayor of New York City, okay, I voted for him. Hey, Bloomberg, what's up? And in this moment, when we see him entering in the race, you're speaking exactly to the point. You know, we're learning that money buys you TV ads, it buys you marketing, it buys you connection, and Donald Trump is raising money at an extraordinary rate. So we can sit here and we can claim that he has no chance, but he does have a chance because of the amount of money he's raising. Yeah. And so we're at a place right now. Yeah, you know, listen, I don't think that we're unhappy with our Democratic candidates. I think that we have a commitment problem, okay? And if you take a look around at the world, you know, we have, I mean, I could tie this into all kinds of things, but we're just having a lack of commitment.
You know,
we have such a large field, but you know, I'm not saying that Mayor Bloomberg wouldn't have a chance. Personally, I don't have a problem with him. I would vote for Roscoe from the juke joint before I vote for Trump. Right. But that being said, Tom Sawyer, like Joe pointed out, Tom Sawyer is the only one I've seen actually that has been pumping out commercials after commercial. He's rich too, and it's not doing him any good.
And let me challenge the observation, and you comment on it. There's a dramatic difference between Bloomberg and Steyer. First off, Bloomberg has dramatic name recognition compared to Steyer. Bloomberg has proven both political, 3 terms as mayor, but he has, by all account, been one of the most charitable people in America, has had one of the best business careers in America. He and Donald Trump are not even on the same planet.
Yes, you just listed Bloomberg's pros. Now let's look at his cons.
The nanny
he
state.
also used to be part of the Republican Party, or at least really immerse himself in the Republican Party. That is going to be used against him. He's a billionaire, which right now the Democratic Party has no appetite for.
Agreed. Wow. However,
so he has his challenges
in
as
a
well.
world prior to 2016, your argument makes sense to me, like a Ross Perot. But in this era, people, even with all of the negatives, will vote for a Donald Trump.
Yeah, and I mean, even just hearing the name Bloomberg, I have emotional ties, and I think immediately of New York. And even knowing other facts, I still immediately say, oh, I could do that. And then I think of all the other facts, and I say, no, that's not the vote that I could possibly cast. But immediately my emotional response, which is how a lot of people vote,
let
is
me
to say
give
yes.
Joe the last word, and let's move on.
I just think there's more of a consensus in a lot of the Democratic circles that America is not going to vote for socialism. And because right now you've got a whole party that's focused on socialism and benefits, that Central America, Common America is not going to go there.
Yeah.
And they need something else.
Please, I wish the Democratic Party was focused a little more on socialism. And I know you said Joe's going to have the last word, but I'm going to have to chime in here. I agree with Josie that we're not committing. However, I don't agree that it's a commitment problem. Listen, we are still a year away from the elections. We haven't gotten to the point yet where we all band together on one person. When we get to the point when we all band together on one person, we'll be having a different conversation. But right now, what we're being is not unhappy. What we're being is critical. And what we're being is willing to observe and willing to keep our minds open to change our minds with the presence of new facts. If this is why Donald Trump got elected, is because people were displaying their blind loyalty for somebody, regardless of what the facts came out to be. The mental Olympics that have been involved in just ignoring the facts and continuing to support Donald Trump, sorry, not sorry. But listen, we have learned from that. The Democratic Party, or at least the people who lean Democrat like myself, have learned from that, and we realize that we cannot be tied down to a particular person just because we like them. Something could happen. It's going to be a year. How much has happened in the news? How much has happened in the news in 2 weeks?
So it's a
let alone
platform
the
issue.
number of things that could happen in the next year. You have to be willing to change your mind because you never know what could happen tomorrow. And I am going to hold you all accountable, hold myself yourself accountable to hold our elected officials accountable.
Or
period.
it's an insane.
I have to move
wait,
on.
wait a minute. It's an insane strategy from the Democratic Party. Like they're like throw everyone at Donald Trump and see who he like gets more,
It worked so well in 2016.
tagged by or
Because
triggered
you don't
by.
have a platform to beat his successes.
Yeah,
but
I
move on.
Yeah, what's next?
Yeah, it's going to be a lot. Of course, this is going to be explored. But we asked the question why we are so unhappy with the candidates we have. So many people on the outside are saying we're going to get in. Let's move on to our third headline that we're talking about tonight, and that is Nikki Haley, the Republican former governor of South Carolina and the UN ambassador. She has come out in her new book saying that she was asked to take sides while she was in the administration by cabinet members and Rex Tillerson and the Chief of Staff, John Kelly. Let us show you a little bit about an interview that Nikki Haley has had just this week. Watch this.
Haley remains a fierce Trump loyalist, including on the issue of Trump asking the Ukrainian president to dig for dirt on the family of Democratic candidate Joe Biden.
Do you think ultimately the president will be impeached and removed from office?
No. On what? You're going to impeach a president for asking for a favor that didn't happen and giving money and it wasn't withheld? I don't know what you would impeach him on. I mean, look, Nora, impeachment is like the death penalty for a public official. When you look at the transcript, there's nothing in that transcript that warrants the death penalty for the president. And I think that...
To be clear, it was not a complete transcript. There are still things that are missing from it. And in that, he does say, I would like you to do us a favor, though.
The Ukrainians never did the investigation, and the president released the funds. I mean, when you look at those, there's just nothing impeachable there. And more than that, I think the biggest thing that bothers me is the American people should decide this. Why do we have a bunch of people in Congress making this decision?
Said, any particular thoughts?
You know, I really applaud her for actually stepping up and publishing her conversations, because this epitomizes what is talked about as the deep state. It's when Trump came in order to drain the swamp and disrupt the ordinary and the everyday and the endless government bureaucracy.
Wait,
and so
Joe,
what this shows is that
you
it,
have
no,
to help.
hang
I want to
on
help you.
Okay.
I want to help in clarity.
Let me.
How can the deep state be someone that the president appointed and were Republicans inside the administration? How can they be deep state?
Well, it comes down to whether or not you can employ a lot of people, and after you employ them, if they're unwilling to implement your policy and your directive and your focus, then they need to leave.
But that's not deep state. Deep state is a secretive governmental organization designed to
it's
defeat.
Not.
Well, then what
No,
is it?
Because in this instance, they were seeking Nikki Haley to join them in not implementing and confronting the president and not implementing his policies.
How about the possibility?
Wait a minute.
Okay.
As opposed to, which is what she said, if you disagree with the president, you go in and you talk to the president, voice your disagreement, and after that's done, when the decision's made, you execute whatever the president has decided, because that's the way business and policy works.
What?
And they chose not to do that.
That
so they
may
need
be
to
the way
leave.
business works, but this is not the complaint department at Walmart. This is our government, and we have the thing called checks and balances.
No.
Vastly, vastly different. Vastly, vastly different.
Checks and balances are between the three branches of government. It does not allow for somebody who is within the administration and the executive branch or within the State Department who is responsible for implementing the foreign policy defined by the president. It does not allow them
See, we
to
don't
go
have a
against that
dictatorship,
policy.
though. This is not their job. Is not
Not
to
yet.
implement what the president says.
Yes, it
their
is.
job is to implement
No.
what is legal
No.
and what is right.
Well,
and backing the
ultimately,
president
you
just
can't-
because he's the president is not her
You
job.
can't decide what you think is legal and right.
I want to come back
what
to
is
the
legal
point.
and right is
I want
the
to come back to the
president's
point.
policy.
We've gone off path.
Okay, here we go.
Coming back to the point. If everything you said is true, why didn't Nikki Haley say this clearly before writing this book?
Because in other interviews, she told both of them that they need to go talk to the president. It is not her responsibility to tell on them. It is their responsibility, if they have disagreement, to go and talk to the president.
I understand. I'm not arguing with you. Always you're providing clarity for me. and the viewing audience all over America. Why didn't Nikki Haley go to the president or somebody and say, this is exactly what's going on? It's a deep state issue. Why didn't she do that?
I think it's because she said she confronted the individuals and told them they need to talk to the president.
No, it's because he doesn't use her words carefully.
He's not in Nikki Haley's head. But Nikki Haley has no credibility. In this same interview, she was asked if the president lies. She sat there and said no. She looked like a fool. If you're going to sit there and say the president doesn't lie, everything else that comes out of your mouth to me is absolute
I mean,
dog shit.
how dare she even say that a death sentence is the same as being fired from your job? You must not value life the same way that a lot of other people do. If you can equate those two things in that same sentence, how dare you, Nikki Haley? That is absolutely not just irresponsible with your position, but
ignorant.
it's basically it's ignorant. It is Trump. It is stamping all over the English language, which this administration does literally every single week. Words have power, and we do not give enough credit to what we're actually saying on air in front of everybody. It's ridiculous.
Yeah. Last thought that I want to bring to a conclusion on Nikki Haley's discussion. She opens this interview by saying that you don't hold them accountable on something they attempted but didn't accomplish.
I know, that's ridiculous.
I immediately thought to
Right.
myself,
Right.
that's like saying a bank robber planned the bank heist, started to implement it, but something happened.
That's like saying attempted murder isn't a crime.
Or who even knows? Did Bill Clinton finish when he was impeached? We'll never know.
Well, there was that dress. I
Wait,
think
there's
that-
a great
Yeah,
question.
apparently there is.
In the White House, he didn't come with Monica Lewinsky. Would that have been a crime in the Oval
That
Office?
dress would have been
Of
submitted
course
as
it would have
evidence,
been because
Carl.
the Republicans were the one that was trying it.
Okay.
Nikki Haley has
Wait,
no
I'm gonna give you
credibility.
final thought.
She has no
Just one
credibility.
final thought.
Don't buy the book.
Final
Just
thought.
one moment on Clinton.
Okay.
Oh, God.
His what
about her emails?
Somebody call a paramedic.
His impeachment was because he had an affair with an employee. Okay? An affair with an employee. That is illegal.
so much better than saying
That's
you're going to kill
illegal?
somebody on air.
Okay, all right.
It's fire. It's a
All right.
fireable offense.
That's our headlines this
He was-
week.
yes,
Let's move
because
out
he
of-
lied.
A far less serious
Let's
offense
move
than trying to
out.
get
Please,
a country
please.
to meddle in our election.
And if he lied, so
All right.
did Trump.
All right, we were not. America, I apologize. I was not able to get through this segment on Nikki Haley and the Trump administration without having Bill Clinton or Hillary Clinton brought up in conversation. I'm sorry. The
that's
only
my
thing
fault.
we
I
needed
didn't do
was
it.
emails. Right. That's all we needed.
In Joe's defense, he
All
didn't
right.
bring him up.
Right. That's
I didn't.
progress.
But he
It's
resurrected
progress.
and rebeat that dead horse, though, didn't he?
Okay, all right. Let's move out of the headlines, and we're starting something this week that is fascinating to me. I want to turn to each of the hosts this week and ask them what's on their mind. New segment we're going to do. I have absolutely no idea what they're going to say. It scares the fuck out of me. All right, somebody tell me, what's on your mind?
Okay, so coming out in just 2 days is the new Pokemon Sword and Shield. And I know I'm the nerd one that's going to talk about it, but this is pure nostalgia coming to fruition. This is everything that you wanted from me, from my childhood, coming into play as an adult. It is the full circle of finally
We don't want to know
feeling-
about your fetishes, dude.
I think we talk about them every single
We've heard
week.
Is it a
movie
To be
or
fair,
on-
no, it's the new game systems. But really,
Oh,
the reason that
cool.
it's important is because it's a way for people to connect with each other. That's always what Pokemon has been about. Is about interactivity. That's what games are
I
for.
got it on my phone.
Like you guys always chastise me about how it's playful and light and stuff, but games and fun things bring people together, and you need to be able to do that.
Speaking of games, tomorrow, Napoleon and I and a production manager at It's Happening Out are getting on a plane, and we're flying to Havana.
Yeah.
And we're going down to Havana for the Havana 500th celebration in the city. And all kinds of games, I'm sure, are going to be played by Napoleon Plays. I'm going to watch, and I'm going to tell you
You are not going to
every
watch.
single
You are not going to
detail.
see anything that happens. So that's fun and games.
How wonderful for you two.
Right?
All right,
I put
somebody
power
else,
on this
somebody
one.
else tells me what's
Video
on
at
your
11.
mind. What's on your mind?
Well,
somebody?
on my mind, I have National Kindness Day. And
That's today.
Love
yeah.
Josie.
Did you found that day?
Oh,
that
you're
sounds like
in a
something you would do.
cardigan.
Yeah, I'm in a
National
cardigan.
Kindness.
It's
All
a
right.
reminder, honestly, because let me just tell you, There have been some people walking into my life these days saying all kinds of unruly things to me. And let me just say this to you guys.
We saw it last week. Jared Curry, roll it back.
No,
Last
no,
week.
don't roll it back. I'm actually like, I'm unapologetic about that. But today I wear this cardigan as a reminder to choose kindness, okay? Because you never know what's going on in someone else's life. And every single day we have the opportunity to be and pass on kindness to someone else. And whenever you have the opportunity, which is every single moment of your life, choose kindness.
Why does cardigan mean kind? Is it like Mr.
Excellent.
Rogers?
Somebody else, tell me, what's on your mind?
Okay, well, I'll counter that by taking us all to that dark place. How about that? So what's on my mind?
That's Aaron Phoenix Brand.
And that's all I have to say. No. So next week, a week from tonight, when you see us again on our next show, will be November 20th, which is the Transgender Day of Remembrance. It's an
Absolutely.
international memorial day for the trans people that we've lost to homicide over the year. And what's on my mind is that while we while we commemorate that, I want us to keep in mind and be aware of, there's been 23 trans people killed this year, murdered this year. That doesn't,
23 people of color.
23 trans, yes, all people of color. But that doesn't touch on the people who survived, the people who were attacked and assaulted but survived. It doesn't touch on the people who aren't reported by the media or who are dead named or misgendered by the media, and therefore we don't really know the real number. It doesn't account for the people who have committed suicide because they just couldn't take it anymore. We got to keep in mind all of the people who are still fighting the fight and who we maybe don't know that lost the fight. So next week, if you find a vigil in your area or an event in your area for TDOR, TDOR, Trans Day of Remembrance, please go and support. It means the world to the trans community, and it means the world to me.
Awesome. And Joe, tell us, what's on your mind?
I think that the biggest thing on my mind and on my heart is just the sense of hate and hostility and push in the world today, pitting one group against another. You know, we've always been, whether it's politics or gender or race or religion, we used to be united around purpose and freedom and the American dream. And now people are just pitting groups against one another to try and divide us and conquer us in the divide. And that's just what concerns me.
Sitting on your mind.
There's so much hate being spewed. It's overwhelming.
Dear Donald Trump.
Well, what's on my mind is the word clean as a way to describe people that are HIV negative as opposed to people that are HIV positive. We need to stop the stigmatization of people that are HIV positive and living with HIV as somehow unclean, which further propels the idea.
Hell yeah.
Which further propels the idea that people are less than somebody else that is HIV negative.
Somehow dirty.
So we need to stop that, and we need to do better.
Awesome. First time we've ever done What's on Your Mind with our host, and I've liked this segment. Oh, I'm sorry, I missed Napoleon.
No, I mean, I could go again.
He just forgot his.
You pointed him.
He was in the game.
Oh, that's right, Pokemon.
Yeah.
Gotta catch them all.
That's
Except
right.
not in this generation.
Fun.
Sorry, everybody.
Let's move into one of our main topics tonight, and that is Atlantic Magazine. We have an interesting thing on Atlantic Magazine. They have devoted the entire issue coming up. You see it here in this slide. It is called How to Stop a Civil War. It is a fascinating issue of Atlantic, talking about the danger of what we're seeing, kind of similar to what Joe just said was on his mind. In the magazine, they challenge the following. We have never seen a successful transition from democracy to a multicultural democracy. And for the first time ever, could founding fathers possibly envision a today? If not, how can America work? In so many different ways, this magazine issue challenges us all to think about the civil war that may be on our horizon. Politics, economics, race, city versus rural, and many, many other standards. What do y'all think about the challenge here about the issue of civil war and what we do to stop what we're watching in America.
The interesting thing about this is multiculturalism has been on the rise for 20 years now. Multiculturalism as well as relative truthism. And we see that, I think that's part of where we see so much hate being spewed today and groups being splintered off. Multiculturalism is about identifying your affinity group and coming together and embracing your group as opposed to others. And what that does is that creates separation.
No.
It creates
No.
differences and highlighting differences as opposed to commonalities. And
Maybe
then-
for a lot
and
of
then-
white people, that's what multiculturalism
Don't
means.
group us all together,
Is coming
please.
together only with your own group versus others. But what multiculturalism means to me and my various, the people that in my life who are of various cultures, is that you embrace and recognize your roots, and not as opposed to, and you recognize the differences and the beautiful diversities and the beautiful just array of people that we have in the world. It's not as opposed to other groups. It's
that would
embracing
be-
yourself and your connection to other groups and your interactions with other groups and everything that we have to gain from each other.
I agree with you, but that is not apparently, well, it's not what we're seeing today, because we're seeing people that are organizing into segments and groups and pitting one against the other.
And why is that?
I think it's a way of dividing the country and conquering it one group at a time.
But why is that started? Like, if we're talking about multiculturalism beginning in the last 20 years, what moved it from a match to a flamethrower?
No, I know we heard
One of the
nationalism.
points in the focus of how to stop a civil war is they identify a sentinel point in the last 20 years, and that was on the Navy Pier in Chicago in 2008. A black man was elected president of the United States. And while we were euphoric in thinking that's what we were ready for, we found out over the next 8 years, many, many Americans were not. And either overtly or secretively, a backlash and rebellion began. Many people argue, it's just an argument, that that's what brings Donald Trump and nationalism and isolationism and make America great again as dog whistle words of let's make America white.
Let's take it
again.
back. But
what do you think about that?
You want to know what I think that's a very fair and valid point. And you want to know what else I think? I actually think that we are already in a civil war. I just think that we are in a modern day civil war where we're not fighting with guns.
Yeah.
But
well, we are. Some people are.
Oh yeah, but
how many mass shootings?
We are as much in a civil war as the civil wars that have been fought before us, except we've just become more acclimated to a more sophisticated way.
Well,
we are just as divided, we are just as hateful, and we are just as tribified.
Well, and I think it's not so much that it's more sophisticated. I think what's happening now is exactly what has happened in the past. It's just that when we look back at history and what's documented is the big scary things like guns and bombings and attacks. The more subtle changes and the more subtle things that happen and conflicts that happen leading up to that civil war are not always looked at in our history books. This is the culture. This is the cultural change, the socio-cultural change that takes place before a civil war, or arguably at the beginning. We may already be too deep into this thing to stop it as
That's really an interesting point, though, that you were bringing up, because as far as I'm aware, correct me if I'm wrong, we haven't actually declared war since Vietnam. Because when people were able to see what carnage war actually brings, we don't declare it anymore. We still go to war de facto. We still invade other countries. We still all do all sorts of things in warlike behavior, but we have not actually declared war. That's correct?
You're correct.
So this is, I think you're right, this is just another civil war. It may never be declared or labeled, but that is what's happening to our country. We are being literally torn apart.
That's really interesting, because I think that parallels our tendency to want to change our language and don't say that and don't say mean things, but not actually change our behaviors or our thought processes.
Not to improve.
I think that people won't actually look at it as an official civil war unless people are fighting in the streets. But the question then becomes, what actually is a civil war? Is it the point where you're actually fighting in the streets, or is it everything else that has led up to that? I mean, at this point, I think that we're in a civil war just without the fighting in the streets.
We discussed this it was a very volatile conversation last week, and it's happening out. We discussed this exact same point. It comes down to who is in power. And one of the points in the Atlantic special edition that they do for this edition of the Atlantic is to say that the framers of the Constitution, the founders of the United States, could not possibly envision a non-white America democracy. And multiculturalism actually doesn't work in the way that they thought because they never envisioned that possibility.
Let's all be thankful for that.
Well, I think also when we talk about it, I mean, right here standing in front of you is a multicultural woman, okay? I am Puerto Rican, Italian, Filipino, and American, okay? And like, I am what the future looks like, okay? And so take a good look, guys, all right? And what we're talking about, and one of my friends helped out in the audience, what you were talking about specifically is nationalism. And that goes for any country, and we see that trend across the globe. That's the fear that we're seeing of people being left out of the conversation. And in actuality, we all just simply need to own who we are, acknowledge where our roots are, and come from a place of confidence, gratitude for where we are, and be able to see each other with the eyes that are going to be willing to listen to our differences.
I'm going to do a flash poll. Please have that ready. I want to provide a highlighter on this in terms of explanation. I've traveled to more than 100 countries. I will tell you, in the experience of my life, I have never been any place in the world that has the cultural diversity of our population. Norway can say it's the greatest place on the planet all they want, but they have blonde, blue-eyed, white, and men and women. They do not have the multicultural population that America has. And that is true almost everywhere in the world. And as a result, we have unique problems that we face that other countries do not face. I want to take a quick flash poll to bring this topic to an end. Yes or no? Flash poll of our host. Do you feel like we're in a civil war now? Yes or no?
No.
No.
No?
Yes.
Yes?
Oh, that's a rough one. Yes.
Yes. Majority of the hosts think we're in civil war now. I want to ask another flash poll question. Do you think over the course of the next 24 months that takes into account President Trump's election or President Trump's defeat, 24 months from now, we can come out of the potential multicultural conflict that we have going on in America? Do you believe that can happen 2 years from now? Yes or no?
No.
No.
Do you believe? I'm sorry.
Can we come out of this 2 years from now, regardless of who is
and
elected?
avoid this civil war?
Yes.
No.
Yes.
Oh.
Yes or no?
Be radically honest, Josie.
No.
No, I think it will take
Hesitation
longer.
is a no.
It'll take longer.
It'll take longer.
The two flash poll questions are really good to close this segment. This is super complicated. It is super dangerous. It is super unique. And we've got a lot of discussion to do to solve our problems. I want to move on to a next topic that we teased you at the beginning of the show. And that is violence the answer? We were going to show you a more specific video of what we showed you a little bit of at the top of the show. We're showing you the slide. The boy that is on the right is gay, and he was bullied by the boy on his left, being called a faggot and other kinds of bullying. And the boy on the right, who is gay, basically snapped in the classroom and started a pushback that led to a violent incident, including slapping him. It gets us asking, oh, by the way, we can't show you the full video because we're afraid that in our social medias, we'll be taken down for endorsing the violence, which we absolutely are not. We're discussing when standing up for yourself is valuable. What do y'all think about this story about bullying in high school?
You know, it's a shame that it had to get to that. I given. But you know what? There were a few times when I was in high school where I was that kid. If you take a can of soda and you shake the crap out of it, and you keep shaking it, and you keep shaking it, and you keep shaking it, and you keep tormenting it, and you keep disturbing it, and you keep messing with it and shaking it, eventually it is going to explode. And I think that's what happened with this kid here, is that eventually it gets to a point where you're going to explode. And we give mixed signals around here in our culture where we say violence is never the answer, but we also say enough is enough and stand up for yourself.
Or have the most guns of any country in the entire world.
Right, that too. And that's where we have to find the balance. This kid, unfortunately, listen, I don't know the whole story. I saw part of the video. It was rough for me to watch. But listen, eventually you got to get to a point where are you going to keep laying down? Or are you going to, at some point, swing back? There comes a point where swinging back is a matter of self-defense.
And I just put an asterisk here. Dr. King and Gandhi both said you don't swing back.
Well,
the law says stand your ground in Florida.
Okay.
All right. At first, when I heard about the clip, okay, I thought, okay, you know, you stand up against bullies. But when I saw the clip, I saw that there was a teacher in the room. And in reality, the gay teen was wrong because I had a teacher and authority in a classroom. And the right way to do that would have been to bring the teacher and the authority in and have them mediate the issue.
Yeah, but it doesn't. That sounds right in theory, but it doesn't always play out that way. If the teacher was in the room, why weren't they interfering already long before we ever got to this point in the video?
We don't know how much the teacher knew or didn't know. What I'm saying is, if you're in that situation and there's a teacher in the room, an adult in the room, you go to the adult first.
I agree, but what I'm saying is that when you are being victimized and no one is helping you and that standby syndrome kicks in and no one will do anything, sometimes you've got to swing back.
Well, as I don't know if Josie has this experience, but I know as the one person probably on this panel that's been gay bashed 3 times, 4 if you count the police in 1993, I actually can certainly understand because, yes, I've been gay bashed 3 times, but I bashed back. And I can understand this child's position. Now, I will say, doing the right thing, keeping it real and keeping it honest, the child, for me, I feel that violence does have a place. Yes, it does. There's a myth that goes on, violence doesn't solve. Yes, it does solve some things at certain points. There's a time and place for everything, including violence. But I feel that violence, however, should only be used if somebody is violent towards you first. So really, I feel that this child should have, he should have hit back, not hit first, which he did hit first. So if I'm going to be an adult and I'm going to be mature, I will have to say, call a spade a spade. He hit the child first. That being said, I do understand his frustration. I understand that he just couldn't take it, and he slapped that child somewhere.
Well, and he may
over the rainbow.
He may have hit first on the video, but how many times has this happened with this particular kid?
I don't know. I don't know. All I can go by is what I saw in the video. I don't know the backstory. I'm not claiming to know the backstory. So he might have had every single right. He might have been bullied.
If this was day number 20 in a row, girl.
I want to bring our topic headline here to an end, but I do want to say, you can. It's difficult to watch this video. As Power has pointed out, it continues to be pulled down in many different places. The one disturbing thing to the point of parental or teacher or mature adult, the teacher was in the room, and the teacher did not respond until very, very long. The yelling, there was no response. It was not until it escalated to a fight that the teacher did get involved.
We need escalation training for teachers before it ever gets to the point of swinging.
It's the distinction between violence and physicality. That's all I'm going to say.
Okay. True. All right. We come out of the topic there. We thought it was very interesting in terms of being bullied in school. We want to end the show tonight, as we do frequently, with another game called Shag, Marry, Chop. And tonight, as you know, Shag, Marry, Chop asked the host to pick who they would shag, the English word, who they would marry, and who they would chop. I remind those, if you're relatively new to It's Happening Out, This is a game that you play around your coffee table called Fuck, Marry, Kill. But we can't do that because the Secret Service will bust the doors down and take power out right in front of our eyes.
And
which
because,
they've already
because
done.
fuck is a bad word.
Again.
Okay? All right. So tonight, let's play Shag, Marry, Chop. It's fun. Play along with us. Who would you do? Shag, Marry, or Chop? And tonight, our theme is going to be 80s music heartthrobs. And here they are. George Michael, LL Cool J, and Henry Rollins.
Oh.
Well, this is an unfair comparison. We're seeing him half naked, stretching, punching, being all shirtless.
Yeah, but he's still Henry Rollins.
You
though.
know all three of these people. Who wants to jump in first?
Oh, I'm going to shag
Joe?
Henry Rollins.
You're going to shag Henry
I'm gonna
Rollins.
marry LL Cool J because that brother is hot shit.
is. Smart as a whip.
George,
And
and
he's
he's smart,
sweet.
and he's funny. He's also funny.
he's
And
real
I'm
sweet.
sorry, George.
You're going to
shag.
chop George Michael?
Yeah, I'm sorry.
So you're not going into the public bathroom with him? Sorry,
could
bad
be.
joke. Bad joke.
That's before he gets chopped.
Okay. All right, who else?
I'll go. I'm gonna shag LL Cool J. I'm definitely gonna marry Henry Rollins.
Hell yeah.
And I'm gonna chop George Michael. He's dead. So.
Okay, that's kind of a cheat. Who else?
Oh,
Shag,
for,
Marry,
for a
Chop.
second, I forgot he was dead.
Yeah.
Now my heart's broken again.
I'm gonna shag LL Cool J because he's married and I just need one night, okay? And I'm definitely gonna also marry Henry Rollins because rock and roll, baby, okay?
Yes, man.
And yeah, same reason. Power stated it. I'm chopping
Okay.
George
So-
Michael.
All right, I got this. I'm going to shag LL Cool J because he's got the big dick energy for sure. He's got that kind of smoothness about him that he don't give no fucks because he's too busy
Swag.
having swag.
Right.
I'm going to marry Henry Rollins. Listen, he's not my type, aesthetically.
Oh, he's
but,
angry, though.
Oh, but he is angry, and you know what? He's righteous angry. He is socially woke. He is not
America,
homophobic.
if you haven't ever watched an episode of Shag, Marry, Chop, there is a recurring theme that if the meaner or nastier or angrier the potential
Aaron gets.
partner is, Aaron Phoenix is like turned on.
The only difference if it's problematic anger, then they get shagged. If it's righteous anger like Henry Rollins, then you get married. Okay, just saying. George Michael, listen, I want to be George Michael, other than the dead part. I don't want to do George Michael. So sorry, I gotta chop him.
All right, and Napoleon.
I would shag Henry Rollins. I mean, I'm watching this. How could anyone possibly say no to that? I would marry George Michael. Oh my gosh, such a good heart, such a loving person.
You'd be great sister wives.
Oh my God! I don't know if I'm more turned on or offended or which. And then I would chop 80s LL Cool J. If I want LL Cool J, I want modern day LL Cool J.
Fair.
Absolutely.
Now see the millennial white boy on
Don't go there. Don't go there. This has nothing to
say
do with
that
it.
about LL Cool J, and none of these damn hosts will say one critical word.
Because I
to him.
live by racial parity as much as
No,
possible.
I'm actually.
I can pronounce his name,
actually
LL Cool J.
impressed.
I know that that's not Tupac.
As
I'm
a
actually
result,
impressed that he knows who George Michael is because another friend of mine that's a millennial around your age, when George Michael died, actually had the audacity to ask me who's George Michael.
Okay, wait. No. I'm tired of the millennial
All right,
hate.
wait.
Hold up. I'm tired of the millennial hate. I'm also a millennial, the same age as Napoleon, by the way, and I used to impersonate George
America,
Michael.
let
So
me
you can't tell me.
Let me
I
tell you
didn't
something,
say
America,
millennials.
that the hosts don't know. Next week, we're doing a topic on why we hate millennials. I swear.
That's every
we have a video.
Okay, Boomer, talk about how you have all the money in the world.
Ellen DeGeneres
and the room
has
just
done a
burst into
video
applause.
that you're going to love. Next week, our topic,
Well, joke-
why we
I
hate
need-
millennials.
Well, joke's on you because we hate ourselves
You know what's
too.
so funny is that there was the president of AARP that just came out with that same statement. No, this is actual true, America. Literally, this happened today.
Wait.
This happened today.
America, I either get bashed
Is
for
it
my
going to be a
age
3-hour show next
right,
week?
or be privileged white guy. So let's come back to Shag, Marry, Chop.
Yes, please.
You heard the millennial white boy talk about the dismiss of LL Cool J, and nobody said a word. So therefore, the privileged white
Reframe.
guy that constantly gets bashed over race is elevating a special Mary status to LL Cool J.
Yeah.
He's beyond Mary. He's like the epitome for me of Mary.
You guys are going to be buried together, right?
Wait,
We're going to be buried
order.
in the
Who's
same
your side?
casket. I love LL
That's because
Cool
you
J.
look at LL Cool J and probably think he's Samuel L. Jackson. You always mess with all knowing you.
All right.
Nothing like white people getting woke just to be better than other white people.
I'm definitely shagging Henry Rollins. I love the anger there. There's something about that. I have elevated LL Cool J into a Mary status where I'm going to be buried in the casket with him. So there's no chopping, and I'm marrying George Michael. He, at this moment, when with the guitar, was the most beautiful man in.
Wait a minute, you cheated. You can't marry
LL
Mary.
and George Michael, and she.
You're
cheating.
I'm doing everything I always tell y'all not to do. Don't cheat.
Cheat,
Just
okay.
cheated. All right, there we go.
The privilege
like,
That
I got
cheated. That's
confused.
our game, Shag, Marry, Chop. We want to tell you that's our show tonight, and we always end our show in telling you we're getting ready to have pizza here. And Joe's going to show us the pizza and open it up.
That one
this
little
is
pizza?
Jet's Pizza.
The other side.
And,
It's okay, Roberta. They need a lot of
this way.
instructions.
Trying to figure out how to work the
and
polls.
Napoleon and
That's
I
pizza.
love this because
that's
it's a
Napoleon
cauliflower
pizza.
cup.
You get like a lot of these.
Yeah.
Yummy,
Good one.
yummy.
If you come into South Florida, and they're in other places, this is a
Oh, yeah.
Detroit-style pizza
Apparently the rest of
location.
That's what you
Calling
call
it out.
foo-foo.
Their
Foo-foo
deep
from
dish
Jet's
is
Pizza.
absolutely amazing.
That's what you
America,
call
that's
foo-foo
Sicilian
pizza.
pizza.
Foo-foo pizza. America, that's our show tonight. We hope you've enjoyed what we've presented tonight. Lots of variety of topics. And our hosts are going to do like they do every week when we do It's Happening Out, and that is a personal message of good night. And we're going to start with my friend Joe Bruckman.
All we are family. Stay up to date on politics, issues, and happenings within our community. Thank you, and we'll see you next week.
All right. And my friend Chef Josie.
Chez Josie. Good night, dreamers. Just to let you know, I'm dreaming with you tonight here at It's Happening Out, and I thank everyone else for watching.
Nice. And my friend going to Cuba tomorrow with a group of us. Napoleon plays.
In fact, in honor of being the world's most popular live gay TV show, I want to say and welcome to everyone that I'm about to meet and say hello to in Havana. Can't wait to see you. Remember
I
to play
bet.
every day, every way.
I know who that is.
One track mind.
And my friend Aaron Phoenix.
Good night, gender fuckers and queers and butches and femmes and trans folks and sex workers and people of color and everyone else who is on the Q plus or the other sides of the spectrum that, we're not getting enough visibility, but it's finally time. Good night.
And to my friend Power Infinity.
Well, good night, children. We are watching history unfold here in America, and never before has what's going on in the world affected us so much. So make sure to keep tuned in right here to It's Happening Out for all the tea.
I also want to say goodnight, America, and I send a special shout out to DJ Mike here in Fort Lauderdale and Richard Gray with Greater Fort Lauderdale Convention and Visitors Bureau. Fort Lauderdale will be hosting one of the biggest Pride events ever in history called Pride of the Americas in April of 2020. And I am very proud to say that we go to Cuba tomorrow to invite Cuba to come to Florida
Yay.
for Pride of the Americas. And we'll
And
see
just
how
to
that
come.
goes. Just to come and have fun. And I'm very excited that we'll be participating. And we'll also be discussing their second Havana Pride, which is going to take place in May of 2020,
Ooh, I
a
can't
month
wait to go
later.
back.
And so it's fun. America, as we always tell you, the show has been important because it is searching for gay culture and gay community. When we started in September of 2018, 69 of you watched. Last week, 645,000 of you
69.
watched. And 69. In October, 3.75 million of you watched in the month of October. We thank you from the bottom of our hearts and your hearts, and we know you're supporting us. So if it's important to you, you can always count on Wednesday nights at 8 o'clock live, the world's most popular gay TV show.
Live
It's
TV show.
happening out. Good night, America.
Good night, everybody.
Right.